Hey, call me Shape. And today I'm reacting to a video titled 29 Mom Dates Ugly Men and Still Gets Rejected. Let's get right into it.
I'm 29 years old and I'm still looking for my soulmate. One of my biggest fears is dying alone. With that being said, I am getting ready to go on a date. Honestly, I'm really not looking forward to this because every single time I get to know somebody, it ends up in complete failure. I'm not gonna lie, he is kind of ugly. And I feel like I do that so that I can kind of protect myself, you know? If he's ugly and he breaks my heart, oh well, you know what I mean? He was ugly. No loss there. I never really liked the super hot guys. The super hot guys are like cookie board, like boring, you know what I mean? I kind of like the guys that looked completely different. Like they just didn't look the same. Like they don't look normal, you know what I mean? I like those kind of guys. We met off Hinge, and Hinge never really works for me, to be honest. Hinge just sucks for me. I don't know why, but it just does. It does not work. But we met off Hinge. This is like my first Hinge date ever. You know what I mean? Oh shit, I forgot to wind that down. Don't want to squish it. Dating as a mother is weird as hell, too. Like, guys that I'm dating will like text me on a Tuesday at like 5 o'clock and be like, hey, want to go get a drink? I can't. I literally have a whole ass human staring at me, calling me mother. No, I can't do that. Sometimes guys will ask me out on a date and not ask one question about my child, like not even curious to know if it's a boy or girl or how old he is. And I just think that's weird. Like, that tells me a lot right there. You do not care about my child, which means you probably aren't looking for anything serious. On this guy's profile, it says that he's 6'1", and I feel like he's lying. I'm 5'11", so I take the height thing very, very serious.
This girl is very negative. Okay, if you can't tell, she's a single mom. She's 29 years old. And she sucks at dating. Okay, she sucks at dating, but can you blame her? Okay? She dates ugly men to protect herself. Do you really believe that? I think that's a lie. I think you're lying. You date ugly men because that's the best you could do. She says this is her first Hinge date that she's ever been on. If you've never been on a Hinge date before and you say Hinge sucks and dating apps suck, no, you're just not that attractive. I'm sorry to say so, okay? So if you're dating an ugly man, he's probably a reflection of you. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Anyway, she had some other videos I thought was interesting. By the way, the video that I just showed you was 3 years ago. That's 3 years in the future, modern day. Look at this video.
I have the one and only 24 karat gold EBOOK.
She's literally making TikToks with her son that she's upset that men don't ask me about my son because they only want one thing. But here she is with her snaggle tooth mouth, missing a tooth, holding her son by the head as his chin rests on the counter. Now, here's the interesting thing. He's biracial. So you tell me you're a single mom and your baby daddy's white? You mean a white man made you into a single mother? Last time I checked, y'all said black men are the ones that making women into single moms. I'm just saying. Anyway, I found another video here I thought was kind of interesting. Kind of tells you about her and her mentality and her personality. Take a look. Hey, listen up, Shape Squad. Are you tired of being ignored by women? Well, download my free ebook, Be Attractive and Shut Up. It's going to teach you how to master attraction, build unshakable confidence, and win with women without words. Because chances are you're not ugly. You just talk too damn much. So download my free ebook, Be Attractive and Shut Up, and take control of your dating life right now. Now let's get right back to the content.
As someone that shows up very authentically online, I can say with confidence that people really don't want authenticity. They want a form of authenticity, but they don't want the whole thing. I am genuinely myself on this app. What you get here is what you would get if you were to meet me in person. But because of this, I get dragged a lot. I have kind of pulled back on being 150 million% myself because I always get dragged. And I find it funny because the people with millions of followers are really the mean ones. They have found a way to put on a persona so that millions of people think they're this way. And then when you guys meet them out in public, you hear, well, they're actually really assholes. And meanwhile, the people that are actually themselves are getting hella hate. I don't even know where I was going with this, but I'm just saying that people really don't like authenticity, because when you're
I don't think they don't like authenticity. I don't think they like you. Something's wrong with you. You're a very strange woman. You are a listen, I've seen some strange women doing videos like this. You're one of the strangest, okay? 29 years old, single mom, who baby daddy is white. And she holds her son's head up on a counter, grabbing him by his hair to make LaBoo-Boo funny TikToks. You're strange. You're strange, okay? The ugly men that you're dating should reject you. I'm glad they reject you. Anyway, I found another interesting video on TikTok. Let's take a look at this.
So I was talking to this guy who had a girlfriend, but I didn't know he had a girlfriend. And when I found out he had a girlfriend, I asked him, why would he talk to me if he had a girlfriend? And he told me because I didn't matter. And he was like, I didn't matter because he was trying to make our situation a FWB's type of situation. And I was just like, well, how did you know that I would be interested in that? And he was like, it didn't matter if you were interested or not. That's all I was offering you. So I'm like, well, when was you going to tell me this? And he was just like, I'm telling you now. And I was like, well, so I just want to let you know, like, I'm not interested and we can just go ahead and cut this short. And he was like, you should be interested because no one will ever talk to you. And I was just like, well, why? What is it about me that you would think no one would talk to me? And he was like, it's actually like, I know. He was just like, you're not a woman to take seriously because look at you. And I was like, look at me. He was like, yes, like, you're not a woman that's put together. He was like, your hair color don't match. He was like, you talk really loud, you act like a child, like you're too goofy. And then he said, I'm slightly overweight as well. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, if you felt all of this about me, why would you waste my time or like try to hurt me? And he was like, it was not wasting your time. He was just like, I just thought, why not? And I was like, well, the thing is, I have to live with who I am as a person. I can't change that. Like, I could dye my hair, I could lose weight, but at the end of the day, I still would be the same goofy me, and that's all right. So for you to...
But here's a problem with that. Yeah, you would still be the same goofy you, but I'm telling you, if you just dye your hair and lose a lot of weight, your life would improve dramatically, okay? I am not an image consultant. Listen, I'm not a specialist at this, okay? But I would argue that your life would improve dramatically. And I always think to myself, why don't black women think weight matters? I see so many women who are overweight, and I think to myself, they think it just don't matter. They'll make sure they do their hair. They'll make sure they do their makeup. And by the way, when I mean do their hair, they mean they'll buy those expensive-ass weaves that nobody's asking for. They'll have some, Brady lady install it for hundreds of dollars, but completely ignore the gym. Like, get yourself a gym membership. You can improve your dating life dramatically. Now, as far as that guy that told you the truth and the harsh truth, you might hate him, but he's doing you a favor, okay? He's doing you a favor. I think the rudest part of what he said is that you don't matter, okay? That was a little too harsh. I would never tell a girl she doesn't matter, but I also don't give a crap enough if they went and improved their lives. I would just block them. I would dump them. I wouldn't even talk to them. Okay, a lot of these girls, I swipe left on. I don't swipe right on. Anyway, moving forward, I found another video I thought was pretty interesting on TikTok. Take a look at this.
I have made this video so many times because I am so upset. More passionate than upset. Because I am watching women get on this app and lie. Bald-faced lie. Maybe lying through omission. Because I know they're not telling y'all the full truth. Okay? I need to first start by saying being a mother is the most beautiful privilege. Being a wife to the right man is the most beautiful privilege and responsibility. Being able to bring life into the world and watch these children grow up to do great things because of what you taught them. Being able to be married to a man and support him, being his helpmeet, his cheerleader, and watch that man go on to do amazing things and then give you all of the credit, because if it wasn't for my wife, being married is not a trap. Being a mother is not a trap. Being married and being a mother when you never wanted to be is the trap. and you trapped yourself. For all of the women that are having this conversation about how marriage is a trap, motherhood is a trap, they're leaving out a key point. They probably never wanted to. They probably became a mother because of an oops. They probably became a mother because society told them that's what they're supposed to do, but they knew in their heart of heart they never wanted it. They probably became a mother because they were out here in relationships and they thought that in order for the relationship to be real, they had to have a baby, as if marriage was not an option. There are mothers out here that got pregnant with no plan to take care of those kids outside of, well, me and the daddy gonna do it together. Even if you and the daddy stayed together forever, what if that man got sick, got hurt, lost his job, passed away? Some women are out here having children with no plan to do it unless they have help. And yes, we all need help, but you can't guarantee that people are gonna be here. For all the women that are saying marriage is a trap, marriage is a trap when you don't know the person you're marrying. And yes, I know.
Oh, man, she was cooking until she said that. I mean, I get what she means about the person you don't know, the person you're marrying. But, you know, we don't know a lot of people that we're getting involved with, right? When you get hired at a job, you don't really know your boss. You just know the person you interviewed with. And sometimes you don't even interview with your boss. You just interview with the hiring manager, maybe HR, okay? But let's get into some of the good things she's talking about. She says women lie on TikTok. Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. Now I can repeat it, and I wouldn't be saying something that's misogynist, because there's no way you could be misogynist. You're a woman, right? Okay, I accept that. She said marriage and being a wife and motherhood is a privilege. I agree. Motherhood and being a wife is a privilege. Treat it like such. She says, but when you feel like it's a trap, it's because you trapped yourself. You became a mother. It was a oops. Oops. That wasn't supposed to happen. Remember that one girl I did a video about? She said that she let a man hit it raw because he said that he couldn't, have kids because he was infertile, and she believed it. So that was enough reason for her to let him hit it raw. And then she found out months later that she was pregnant. Can you imagine? That's all the lie he said. I can't get you pregnant. I'm infertile. The doctor said so. She said, okay, legs open, no condom. So women end up in this place. It's their own trap. But the part I was going to say that she's wrong about is, if you get an arranged marriage, you don't know your husband, okay? And a lot of arranged marriages actually work. Look at India. India has less than a 1% divorce rate. And most of their marriages, well, at one point, was arranged marriages. I've met people in arranged marriages. They just accept it. They know one man's slong is like another man's slong. So instead of beating themselves around with different slongs and going through all that trauma about being passed around from men to men, they accept the person that they were arranged with. This makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to women. Anyway, I found another clip that I thought was pretty interesting. Man, oh man, 29 is a rough year for a lot of girls. Take a look at this.
Okay, so you guys know how I am 29, single, the whole thing. I've never had a boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, a lot of people are always like, how are you so okay with being single for 29 years and never been in a relationship? And you also know how everyone's talking about the lucky girl syndrome. Okay, well, I have adopted that since like the beginning of my time. I always thought, okay, I also just went to the dentist. I'm in Mexico and I got my hair cut and this side of my mouth is like still numb. But anyways, I have always thought like, absolutely, I know everything always works out in my favor. Like I look back on my life and I'm like, wow, everything has worked out to perfection. So I always think to myself, like, why wouldn't me finding someone not work out if like life has proven me otherwise? Like everything has always worked out. So I have adopted lucky girl syndrome before I knew it was lucky girl syndrome, but for something that has not happened yet, which is being in a relationship. And I just know, stick around guys, stick around, join my journey, because I know that I'm gonna find someone and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, how did everything work out so perfectly with this man's and like how did I get so lucky? But I just wanted to invite you guys to follow along my journey.
This girl is gonna be, I mean, it's what, 2023 she put this out, so maybe it's 2 years later. She's probably still single. Lucky girl syndrome, I've never heard of that before, but clearly to me it's unlucky girl syndrome. It's unlucky because they have an unhealthy relationship with delusion. Okay, sometimes delusion is good. Okay, I think delusion is good, especially if you're trying to work towards something and you don't see a clear path in the future, but you know what you're doing makes sense. I think that's when delusion's healthy. Like, for example, like when you start a business and you keep failing and you try another business and that business fails, so you have healthy delusion starting business from business, and the likelihood of one of your businesses is going to take off. It's going to work in the future. But women thinking that the man in their dreams that looks exactly the way they want him to look, that behaves exactly the way they want him to behave, and only wants them, that, to me, my friend, is unhealthy delusion. It makes no sense. It makes no sense that you're going to stake your whole life under this idea that God's going to send you the perfect man. When has God did this for anybody? Please, name somebody where God has did this for. You lived life for 29 years, probably even more now because it's 2023. So you lived life for 31 years, according to, 2025, right? And you still haven't had any success. Why would God wait till you're almost at the end of your fertility window to send you a man? How does that make sense? Please, let me know. Tell me how you're lucky in that way. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Anyway, here's a video of a woman that can tell the truth, the harsh truth. I love when other women tell the harsh truth. It makes my job easy. I can just sit back and enjoy the video. So can you. Take a look.
Just remember that broke women want men to take care of them because they can't take care of themselves. Remember that newly found religious women have just finished their hoe phase and now they want to settle down and use their manipulation through religion to control you. Insecure women want men that they can control, manipulate, and use. Broke women are always the loudest about men that can't provide because they cannot provide for themselves. Women who want nothing in a relationship lack ambition, which means she will likely kill every single one of your dreams or ideas that you've ever had. Remember that women that want control, if you have children with them, will also control you through your children. A wounded woman is a woman looking for a father figure because she grew up either with a shitty dad or fatherless. A woman who never respects you will always cheat on you, and there is no exception to this rule. Women that believe that men cannot bring peace, it's because they cannot bring peace themselves, so it actually makes them anxiety-driven and insecure about their abilities to bring you peace, so she'll likely bring you chaos. A woman who thinks she's more attractive than you will always belittle you because she thinks that she's below you, and you'll never be treated as equals. A woman who claims that she's in her healing girl era and is bragging about it on the internet or to her friends and family, just remember that it's all for show, because a true person that's healing doesn't need to brag about it. If she lies about small things, she will always lie about bigger things. If she's comfortable with bashing her friends to you, then she's going to be comfortable bashing you to all of her friends and family. A woman who plays the field is not only a hoe, but is also deeply insecure and uses it to feel wanted and needed, and she's likely using you just to feel wanted and needed. A woman who gets mad that men sexualize her, but she sexualizes herself, is the same woman that has rules for thee, but not for me mentality. A woman who is screaming at the top of her lungs that men are not the prize, that men are beneath them, that men ain't shit, is the same woman that doesn't understand what a good man is because she's never had a good man in the first place. The type of woman that you need is someone that is submissive, that will listen to your leadership, who wants to grow with you, who wants to build with you, who believes in partnership and loyalty, who will do anything for you and doesn't disrespect you in the process. Okay, bye.
This girl, man, shout out to Sarah Eaton. She be eating, she be cooking. The one part that I really liked what she said was broke women. She said broke women can't take care of themselves, and that's why they want men to take care of them, because they can't take care of themselves. I thought that was really good. She said insecure women want a man that they can control/abuse. I see this a lot. In fact, I probably feel like I date a lot of insecure women, because I've always noticed, like, why is this girl trying to control me? And here's the funny part. A lot of attractive women are very insecure. Very, very insecure, bro. I mean, I don't even want to get into it. But a lot of women who are actually attractive are extremely insecure. And, you know, I know it's a little, it's against what you would believe, right? It's kind of it's not the word counterproductive. What's another word for it? It's counterintuitive. There you go. Come on, Shape. You got that. So I'll be forgetting these words when I'm making these videos. I'm thinking about a million things. It's counterintuitive. You would think that a pretty girl has a high self-esteem, you know what I'm saying? But it turns out they have a low self-esteem. And then the ugly or maybe the girls who are mediocre or basic or average, they're the ones that are cocky as all hell. Cocky as all hell. And a lot of them still try to control men too. Anyway. A girl that lies about small things lies about the big things. Yeah, man. Once a liar, always a liar. You got to look out for these type of things. I agree with her on that a lot. And the other thing in general is just that women, you know, they have to understand that as men, they make it difficult for us to take them seriously. They make it real difficult. Because if you take a woman seriously, you would argue with her. And arguing with a woman is a bad idea. So in order not to argue with a girl, you have to treat her like a child and treat it like what coming out of her mouth is like what comes out of an 11-year-old's mouth. You don't argue with an 11-year-old. They don't know any better. So that's why you can't argue with a woman, because you have to make the presumption that she don't know any better. Not that she's not smart enough, but she's having an emotional state. And if you follow her lead, you're going to always lose. I've had to learn this the hard way. I've gotten to so many debates with women when I should have just been ignoring them. Just like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm not going to argue this with you. Right? That's the best way to win an argument with a woman is just to avoid it. I'm not going down that route. No. Not for me. No, I ain't doing that. That's the best way to do it. You know? Anyway, I say all this to say that, look, in this time, this day and age that we're in, it's very few women that can tell the truth. So shout out to this girl for telling the truth. But bigger than that, I think that we have to understand the big truth is that we can't change women. There's nothing you could do, no matter how many of these videos you watch, women are not going to change. The best thing you could do is adapt. And I think one of the best adaptations is become your best self, right? Become your best self. Improve the way you look, improve the way you feel, so your health and your wealth, right? And your physique. Improve how much money you're making. And separate your dependency or eliminate your dependency from women. You don't want to depend on a woman, not necessarily financially, not necessarily emotionally. You don't want to depend on them for nothing, because no matter what you do in life, women could come and go out of your life for any reason. This is not a game of merit when it comes to dealing with women. It's not a game of merit. Men who don't deserve women will get all the women. Men who do deserve them will get none of them. Just think about that concept. A good guy will get no girls, even though he's going to be the one that doesn't cheat, worships her, takes care of her, and she still won't even mess around with him. In fact, if she does date him, she'll cheat on him with a guy that won't do none of that stuff for him. It's not a game of merit. That's why, in my personal opinion, a man should just level up or attempt to level up, try to chase status, chase success, and allow women to chase him. That's the best thing. That's what I'm going to do. You guys can do whatever you want, all right? But what you should do is like this video, subscribe to the channel. Channel's blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see y'all over there.